Hello. Today I'm going to talk about a book that I read recently, which has not left my mind. So I'm going to talk about it to a bunch of strangers that I don't know on the internet. So it's going to be fun. The book I'm going to discuss today is called The Way or The Path. I've read it both ways by Naguib Mahfouz. It was originally written in Arabic, and Naguib Mahfouz is an Egyptian author. So get ready because I will be talking about this book for like at least 10 minutes. So when you first read this book, there's a moment that you realize that it really isn't what you think it's going to be. And when you're reading it, you think it's just a story about a boy called, a son called Saber. I'm probably butchering that. Who is searching for his missing father. But slowly and deliberately, you're pulled into something much deeper, a study of obsession, of masculinity, of inherited longing, in a way, of spiritual void, and most of all, of illusion. Because Saber wanders through life holding on to a single hope that if he finds his father, he'll find himself. And if he uncovers the past, he'll, understand his purpose. But the more he pursues this purpose and he searches outward, the worse he gets and the further he drifts from who he truly is. And that really isn't something that is unfamiliar to us. We chase, we attach meaning to things, to people, to places, to titles, and we hope that they'll explain us and they'll tell us who we are. But Mahfouz writes with a quiet knowing that sometimes the way forward isn't by giving up, but rather letting go. Realizing that the idea that somebody holds your worth is complete and utter BS. And Mahfouz doesn't write like he's trying to impress you, which is really, it's rarely done well. It's rarely done well. He writes like a man who knows and who sees people not as they present themselves, but as they truly are. Fractured and stubborn, sometimes noble, but oftentimes not. And his language in Arabic, when read in its original form, I'm presuming, is deceptively simple. But that the simplicity is almost surgical. Like, not a word is wasted, not a metaphor. It feels like a decoration, and everything is doing its work and, pulling its weight, kind of. And that kind of thing echoes long after you close the book, if you ask me. And there's also the naming in the book, and the main character's name is Sabr, which in Arabic means patient. But Sabr is anything but patient. He's restless, he's agitated, impatient with answers. He believes he's waiting for his father, but in truth he's waiting for himself, and he doesn't even know it. And thank God I had little footnotes to tell me all of this, because I would have completely missed it. And Mahfouz does this all the time. In most of his books, actually, he names his characters like riddles, like little ironies wrapped in Arabic grammar. So if you don't speak the language, you will miss that bite. You might miss his little prophecies. And what's brilliant about Sabr's quest also is that it looks like a journey, it looks like action, but it's stagnation. He moves, he travels, he interrogates, but he doesn't evolve, and not for most of the novel at least. And it's a haunting metaphor for how many of us live, busy and loud in motion, but fundamentally lost. And Saber, he's convinced that his father's disappearance is the answer to all of his questions, the answer to his identity, and that if he finds him, the story will resolve. But Mahfouz, like life, refuses him that closure, because the real answer is far too uncomfortable, that sometimes there is no resolution, just the self. And Sabr can't bear that. And in many ways, Sabr's journey reminds me of Santiago and The Alchemist, where in The Alchemist, there's promises of clarity, but in the way, Mahfouz only offers you complexity. And Paulo Coelho, Coelho, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, the author of The Alchemist, tells us, follow your personal legend, and the universe, or the God, whatever you believe in, will conspire to help you. But Mahfouz whispers something else completely. Be careful what you seek. You might find that it was never real. And same goes for Siddhartha. In both novels, the protagonist seeks something outside of himself, a father figure, wisdom, truth, only to return to a deeper question, like, who am I without the search? And even Damien by Hermann Hesse resonates here. The obsession with fate, the need to break through an invisible wall. And the way resists resolution. And that's what makes this book so haunting to me. Because what I find extraordinary is Mahfouz's restraint. I think restraint is the best word to describe it, because he doesn't drown us in emotion. There are no pages of internal screaming, but somehow you feel Sabr's quiet desperation more and more because it's held back, because it simmers. And also, side note, this book is read like very smoothly. I kind of read it in one breath. We say that in Georgia. I'm not sure if that's quite correct, but it's it just shows his expertise even more. And his prose in Arabic is crisp and traditional, and yet it's full of contradictions, like modern psychology nestled inside of Cairo's alleys, and questions about manhood and destiny wrapped in prayers and street noise. He doesn't write for you to agree. He writes to unsettle. And The Way isn't a novel you walk away from feeling resolved. It leaves you with some uncomfortable questions, and the kind of questions you don't answer with words but with your life. What I mean by that is, what are you chasing? Is it even real, or is it just an illusion of purpose, filling the silence you're afraid to hear? And maybe that is the difference between Mahfouz and the other writers, is that the other writers show you a very clean path. They draw out the path for you. But Mahfouz, he shows you the emptiness that surrounds it, and says, walk away. And I didn't expect this book to move me the way that it did at all, honestly. But it reminded me of something that I often forget, which is that you are not behind, and you're not lost, and you are simply becoming. So let yourself enjoy that journey, and try not to get yourself lost in it. I can keep talking about this for hours, and how I kind of think it's not really about finding his father. It depends on the reader how you interpret it. I kind of interpret it in the way that he's searching for God, in a sense. But it really does depend on the reader, and I don't want to spoil it anymore. I think that this was this was spoiler free. I hope you read this book. It's really phenomenal. Please go to your nearest library right now, and get this book. Get this book. Like, it's so good. I would give this. Don't look at my desk, please. I was studying. I would give this an 8.5 out of 10, which is phenomenal, because I usually give books like 5 or 6, and the good books, like, I've given good books those marks. So if you care even a little bit, I beg you to listen to a stranger on the internet to tell you to buy a random book. I promise you won't regret it. So, especially if you can read Arabic. Oh my god, I wish I could read this in Arabic. I could only imagine how great this is in Arabic. Oh my god, right now I'm watching you. Take care, and thanks for listening to me for 10 minutes. Damn.